All right. We are on the other side of our more than one page. Remember, this is about mixed numbers and improper fractions. And so when we come over here, sometimes we are asked to add mixed numbers and improper fractions. Mixed numbers or improper fractions. So it's pretty simple, but it requires common sense, which can make it difficult because some of you like to know I do A, then I do B, then I get C. So you're going to have to use some brain power on this. Common sense. Woohoo! All right, so let's say that I have 3 1/5 plus 2 1/8. Well, in this case, if it were me, I would add the whole numbers first. I would do 3 plus 2 and get 5. I don't know why I wrote 1. And then I would do the fraction part. So then I would do 1/5 plus 1/8. I know I have to make a common denominator. So if I do the top and the bottom both times 8, and over here the top and the bottom both times 5, I have 8 40ths plus 5 40ths equals 13 40ths. Okay, so my answer would, don't forget about these holes, my answer would be, I'm going to bring both pieces together, 5 and 13 40ths. Sometimes we have to subtract. And when we have to subtract, sometimes it makes sense to do the whole numbers first, but sometimes we have to borrow. So let's say I have 1 3/8 minus 7/9. So I would do, okay, there's no hole here, so 1 minus nothing is 1. But then when I go to do 3/8 minus 7/9, I can't take 3 away from 7. Now I know this one is bigger because it has a hole. Don't forget about that hole. So in this case, what I need to do is I need to turn this, if you need to borrow, you borrow from your hole. And you borrow from the holes by making an improper fraction. Okay, so if I make 1 3/8 into an improper fraction, 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11/8, and then I can do 11/8 minus 7/9. Now, I still have to get to a point of common denominators. So I'm going to take I'm going to multiply both of these numbers by 8, both of these numbers by 9, because that's my denominator over here. I have 99 70-seconds over 56 70-seconds. I do 99 minus 56, which is 43. 43 over 72. Now I want to check and make sure I'm in simplest form. And to check that I'm in simplest form, I need to make sure that 43 and 72 have no common factors. So if I look at my table, hey look, 43 is a prime number, so I don't even have to bother with 72. I definitely know that they have no common factors. So that tells me that I am in no common factors, means it's already in simplest form. Hooray! However, I'm going to throw another. Sometimes we subtract and we don't need to borrow. because we can do it just like we did the addition where we do the whole numbers first and then the parts after. So if I had 7 and 4/5 minus 2 and 1/10, I can do the 4/5 minus 1/10. And this is where it pays if you know least common multiple. I don't even have to change the tens if I don't want to. Now I could times them both, times both of these by 5, times both of these by 10. That would work fine. It's just I'd have to simplify at the end. Where maybe if I do the least common multiple, I don't have to simplify at the end. So I'm going to say that I just know that if I multiply 5 by 2, I get 10. So if I do 4/5 times 2/2, I get 8/10 minus this 1/10, just gets to come right on down. 8 minus 1 is 9, and we put tens right across onto the answer. So that's the fraction parts. I get 9/10. Hello, Miss Funk. 7/10. Thought that sounded funny. Hey, look at me using my math sense and my common sense to go, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. All right, 7/10. Now I got to do my whole numbers. 7 minus 2 is 5. So my final answer is 5 7/10. So why do we need to use common sense? We need to use common sense to decide whether or not we can do the whole numbers separate from the fractions, or if we need to borrow from the whole. And if we do, we need our common sense to help us make improper fractions. But that is adding and subtracting mixed numbers. Yeah,